Good morning. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is just sitting and stitching on my vase of flowers for the Still Life project, Roxy Creations. So I haven't been on this piece for a couple months actually, and I really need to fall in love with it again and get stitching because time is ticking. So I need to refresh my memory of where I'm at, and I'm thinking it's this flower. I need to make some probably decisions about leaves. I'm yet to do the bird. There's a second bird on the bigger, grander piece, which I'll talk about in a moment. I'm just looking at my threads to make sure I've got a little bit of everything. Mind you, I can jump up and grab it. I am missing my little scissors. Let me grab them. So we are pretty much ready to go. So I hope you're all well. I hope you're... Hey, Fudgy. Yeah, okay, now the cat's here. He just about jumped up on the chair just as I sat down on the chair. So we nearly collided. So let's get the pussycat happy. There's Fudgy. Hey, Fudgy. Don't walk on my piece. Go around the perimeter, son. Okay, Fudgy happy? Fudgy's happy. All right, so what was I doing here last? I can see a bit of action there. Let me just zoom in just to show you what I'm looking at. Do you see that big flower there? I've already stitched the pale area, and I've obviously started stitching the dark area, but let me get it in the light. Can you see my stitches versus the dark area printed on the actual fabric? So that's where I'll continue and then think about some of the other colours. So that's what I'm up to. I've stitched the blue on the flowers. Need to find a blue for in there. So there's so much to do. Even those, they have their decorative element in the middle. I've anchored around the outer edge. Need to find some colours to go in there. Haven't even looked at the leaves. See what I mean? There's the leaves. If I remember rightly, my colour palette for the leaves, I was a bit lacking in colours, and I sort of put it all in the too hard basket until I could get to a threads range and make a selection. So what I'll do, I've got so much to tell you guys. Oh my goodness, tell you it never ends here. Hey Fudge, we're having a quiet morning stitch, because we have visitors who are going to do some landscaping for me. But let me get my thread, get my thoughts, and then I'll tell you what's all happening. So I mentioned in a previous video that the Gameri Pumpkin Festival is coming up, and we knew that my husband's brother and a couple of his mates were planning to head in that direction and camp for a week at the farm, do a few odd jobs around the farm. One of them can drive a tractor, so I thought, right, he can do some tractor slashing of all the grass. So much rain, so much grass. And the boys could probably do some dump runs out of the hay shed. We sort of stopped just before Christmas, and we just haven't got back there to get it going again. It's not a lot to do, but, you know, just keep tidying. So if they're all going to be sitting around, might as well give them a job to do, I say. So that is in the wind. In the meantime, the brother, Gaz's brother, he turned up out of the blue, was passing and said, are you guys home? I'll drop in, say good day. Can I bunk down for a couple of days? I'm waiting for a flight back to Townsville. We're like, yeah, no worries, come on down. So in the end, what happened is there was a mate. See, he always travels in packs, these boys. So not far away was obviously a mate. And in the time before that was all, you know, sort of sorted, we're sitting out the back, and I was having a grizzle because I had lined up a landscaping business to come and build me a fire pit and build me some garden beds, surrounds with seating on them. And I've just been mucked around. Oh my goodness. I've had so many guys say, yeah, mate, we can do it. Some have sent quotes. One quote was $45,000. Another quote was $5,000. I just cannot get over the difference in quotes and the pricing. So I'd sort of put it in the too hard basket. I come across another company, Christmas last year. He come out, he talked the talk, never saw a quote, but he kept saying, yep, no worries, we can do it. We'll slip in and do half the job before you go to America, and then we'll come back and finish it off. That works with my schedule. You know, talking the talk. Still hadn't quoted. And I was just like, nah, I don't think I can afford you clowns anyway. So the night that Gary's brother arrived, he had been in Rockhampton moving a friend. He was moving house and making his way back to live in Brisbane. So the boys were doing a bit of a gathering bits and bobs from his family members. He's got a couple of kids, and one kid had this, another kid. Oh gosh, guys, it is such a palaver. So anyway, look, Dino, I've got to use names, otherwise it's too many words. Dino, Gaz's brother, flew to Rocky to help Tim move his assets to one central location and then organise a truck at a later date to move it all back to Brisbane. Or, I don't know, where are they living? Caboolture, I don't know. Anyway, so Dean's on his way back past us, hence why he thought, I'll pop in and see Gaz. I'll cool my heels for a few days and head back to Townsville on a flight they've got booked, I think, next week. I don't know. There's so many details that I'm just not absorbing. So Dino turns up. Yeah, you can stay. He's had dinner with us, and he was exhausted from helping his friend Tim move. They'd been at it about a week. And he was you could just see he was tired. So we fed him and we sat down on the couch, and within a minute he's snoring. And in amongst that, I get a message at like 8:30 at night from the landscaper saying, oh, mate, is your timetable flexible? I'm just having a few delays. This has gone wrong and this has gone wrong and the bobcat's blowing up and and I'm sitting there on the couch going, that's it. I've had him on the go since Christmas. And I had pinned my hopes that he could come in with a professional crew and just get it done, as long as the price was reasonable. And at the moment, the price was like not reasonable from every other clown. So that was it. I lost my noodle. I was like, I can't rely on anyone. Landscapers, they've just mucking me around. And meanwhile, Dean's lying on the couch between Gaz and I, snoring his head off. And Gaz is like, well, look, we'll just do what we can. We'll pick away at it, you know. And Gaz is back. At the moment, he does too much. It twinges and my shoulder's shot. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to take 10 years. But anyway, so I had my hissy fit. I calmed down, went to bed, woke Dean up and said, go to bed, mate. You're snoring here. You've ruined our movie because you're snoring. So he's like, yep. Thanks again for the bed. Hey, Fudgy. So we all go to bed. The next morning, Gaz is still in bed. And I'm up with the sparrows, and so is Dean. And we're sitting out the back having a coffee and contemplating life. And I told him what experience I'd had with these landscapers. And he was like, typical. Like, Dean's a jack of all trade. He's worked in most industries within construction and everything, from concrete pools to mechanic to car salesman. He's a jack of all trades. So Dino's like, right, I've got a mate, Timothy, who I've just helped move house, who's on his way back down to Gympie, passing where I live, probably within a day or so. How about we get Tim in here and myself, and we'll do some landscaping for you. And I was like, oh, yes. I got so excited. And I said, well, I'll feed you. You've got bed, breakfast, and dinner. You know, this would be great. This would just get the labouring side of things done. You know, I can plant plants, move soil, mulch and all those types of things. And I can take my time to do that because I love doing it. Garden makeover. So he makes a few calls. So by the time I'd cooked them eggs for breakfast, Gaz is out of bed. And we said, Gaz, we've got a crew. And Gaz is like, what? Huh? How did this all happen? And I said, Dino, he's got a mate. Tim's on his way. He'll be here in the next day or so. And Gaz is like, oh, okay. So we got Gaz on the plans again, measuring up what we would need in the way of timber to do these raised garden beds. Now, when I finish yapping to you guys and bringing you up to speed, I'm going to sneak outside and do a little video, probably tomorrow morning, and just show you what my plans are and what I'd like done so that you know exactly what's happening. Then I'll touch base again with you and see, you know, how it went. So that's the plan. Redo the garden beds at the back, build them up so Mr. Bandit can't dig holes and flick all the soil everywhere. Protect my plants from a male dog, need I say any more, Mr. Bandit. And Pepper, she just likes trotting around looking at all the plants, and if there's a lizard, she'll go digging for it. So I just want to eliminate the dogs. So that's the plan. So I need to dodge into town, stock up the larder, because these boys can eat. And if they're doing manual labour, they're going to really eat me out of house and home. So I'm going to do a little bit of stitching with you guys, get this back in my frame of mind so that when we're all sitting around in an evening, I can just pick this piece up and do some stitching. And I might not feel like it because no doubt it'll be, you know, outside all day. And once you start working outside, it sort of knocks you around a little bit. So I might be just too tired. Plus feeding them, cooking. I'm sure they'll keep me busy. I noticed a big pile of dirty washing in the laundry, so I'm guessing I'll be doing some washing for these boys. But hey, if the girl gets a renovation on her garden bed edges, I'd dearly love a fire pit done, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. I don't even know what design I want to do. I can't decide, and I don't know. It's all just something I'm percolating on. And as Gaz said to me on the quiet, don't load them up with too much work because we don't know how efficient they are. We haven't met this chap yet. So, yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan. So I thought I'd pop in here, say hello to you guys. You do have my Saturday video for the next couple Saturdays, making another rice bag caddy using the Liberty fabrics. It was fun reading all your comments because you were saying, you know, the apprehension of cutting into fabrics that you've loved and you've just been admiring. It's so real. It's funny. But now they're cut into. Now you guys need to, you know, I've made the bag. It's finished. You're catching up because it was pre-recorded months ago. I thought you'd be watching it while I was in America, but my America videos took over, so I bumped it forward to now, which I'm glad I did because now I've got this landscaping thing happening. So, yeah, it's made, and trust me, by the time I get to the next couple sides of that caddy, chop, 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 it's all happening. So, yeah, that's the latest. So stay tuned. There's adventures afoot once again. Now this piece, I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I just don't know about it, guys. I feel like when I look at it on the floor, now remember it's huge. It's 1.3 or 4 by 1 point. It's in the old frame of the clock. Yeah, it's huge, and I feel like this holds its space, but there's still a lot of space. And when I put the fruit and my ginger jar on, they look like little blobs. I might just zoom back up because I'll very quickly come out of camera shot if I don't remember that you guys are patiently watching. So, and you know, we've hung a few pictures around the walls in the house. We finally feel like we're settling in. So pictures are going up and I keep pointing to the wall where this is going to go. And you know, when you look at your husband or partner and they don't comment, but you can see the cogs turning, that potentially there might be an issue with this idea of putting that on that wall. You know what I mean? So each time I see his face, I think, something's not right. So divert, deal with it another day, hang this picture here, do this, and away he goes. So we got down to the last 2 pictures to hang. And he said, I'll get them up and then that's everything done. And I said, yeah, and when I'm finished this piece, it's going on that wall. Once again, I point to the wall. And he gave me that look again. And I said, you don't really want anything on the wall over there. And he goes, no, not really. I said, is it the size of the piece, you know, what's the issue? And he was so diplomatic. And he says, I just don't think that wall needs anything. I'm like, right. So you're not sure about my stitching piece? No. You know, that time, I'm like, right. I thought, I'm not going to push him to the point of admitting he thinks it's horrible, which he doesn't. But he can just, it's flowers and, you know. So that's been in the back of my mind. And to be honest, I keep looking at the piece and just think, it's so big, it's going to be a vast piece with a big bunch of flowers over to the side, up to the right, up high. Then there's these big pieces of fabric that are spectacular, but that's all there is. And then in comes the fruit and the ginger jar, which are pretty much that in size. And it's like, well, they need to be close to this, and it looks beautiful. Therefore, the piece, let me zoom up a little bit more. Therefore, the piece needs to be this big, where I've got another metre in that direction and another 1/2 metre in that direction. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm sort of the opinion now that I want to focus my eye on this. This is where all the energy's going. This is where I'm stitching, and I'm sure you guys are in the same boat. So to have a piece that is so vast with so much intensity happening here, which is the focal, but on that piece, it's to the left and up a bit. And then there's this huge area that probably needs something to fill. So it's sort of like the background is too big and it's overpowering the piece. Now, just looking at Rachel's piece, for example, the girls come down the side perimeter with chunks of fabrics. That then brings the eye more into the centre where all of these features are. I don't have that. It's just like picture a desert heading off to the horizon, and it just keeps going and going and going. I think that's what my piece looks like. But over in the far corner, in the distance, you can see a Bedouin tent city, which looks so interesting and you so want to study it, but it's so far away in the distance. That's what my piece feels like. So what I'm thinking of doing now is the only other wall that I can put a piece on is in my room here. And I'm thinking I'm going to redesign the background once I finish doing all this stitching. Bring it down in scale. I know it will then work on this wall, and I'm going to get it framed because I want it under glass. I don't want dust on my piece, so that way, you know, it'll be protected. So I'm thinking, don't rush it. Stitch into this because now I was even getting a bit quick with my stitching because I was like, just it's so big, just get it done, get it done. I really want to back it up a bit, take my time, stitch it beautifully, frame it under glass and be very proud of my work. Like I feel like these flowers need this more stitching done. I just feel take it to the next level. To me, that got a bit quick and I think it's the sheer size and I wasn't thinking I was going to stitch these. Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And I think if I don't stop and redesign, I probably will regret every time I look at the piece. And if you've got your husband and your partner who's just not real keen on it, maybe he, without realising what he's seeing a half-done piece too. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. I think he's more seeing not another thing on the wall. And it's not, you know, probably suited to that spot. I don't know. I'm really not sure. So that's where I'm at with my piece. Keep stitching. We have time. I'm going to keep reworking this here, the intensity of it, and then go back to the background, bring it in, tighten up the picture. Like even when you look at still life paintings, there's a lot happening in a small area, isn't there? You can't answer me, but I know that's what you're thinking. So as much as I wanted a big piece to fill that wall, I'm probably got more caught up on the big piece for the wall than the work itself. And the work got left behind a bit. And what's pulled me up is these little pieces of fruit that are so intensely stitched and beaded and gorgeous that are going to be lost in the desert. They will go back to the desert scenario. They will look like a camel train in the distance, and there's probably so much interest happening over at that camel train, but you're not really going to spend time on it because you're looking at this grand big desert. Does that make sense? I'm very visual. So I describe things visually. So yeah, that's my thought. Keep stitching, girl. Enjoy the stitching because that's what I love doing. Take the pressure off of the piece. Doesn't have to go up until I'm 100% ready. Downscale the piece so that it suits my room, and then it's in here with me. So that's the plan. Who else is thinking along those lines? You can see why painters, when they do paintings, will sometimes just paint straight over the top and start again. I totally get it. You know, not everything goes to plan. Projects often need to be adapted 100% all the time, and it's just fine. So yeah, I'm pleased the next prompt was anything we like, because anything we like for me is going to be a remodel of the whole piece, is what I'm thinking. I think too, see, the other thing that was annoying me is I wasn't going to camphor quilt or camphor stitch the background, the desert. But every time I looked at that piece, it's sitting on the on a big cushion in front of us every time we watch TV. It's just there. So I'm looking at it every day. And it needs to be camphor stitched. I've invisible stitched methodically in rows, and I can see that little stitch quilting it down. And that's beautiful. It looks elegant, but it just doesn't suit this. This is so stitched. This fabric here is so dense. I just feel like it's, yeah, I don't know. I think I've described it enough for you guys to know where I'm at. I have a feeling that it just needs to be more stitched. What's the saying? It goes through an ugly stage before it's right. Yeah. We need a redesign. But in the meantime, I can enjoy the stitching because I know I love this. and the rest will fall into place. And I'm going to pack up the mess that is sprawled all over that chair. Just keep out what I need for this project. Stop thinking big scale and get into it. So that's the plan. And that way too, if I want to do some weaving in here, just to bring other tones in, I can, because I've taken the pressure off of deadlines. So that's the plan. It might take me all year, but that's okay. I'd love it finished and framed and on the wall for July. I've got some friends staying with me that are going to tag along to the retreat. So I'd love it finished, but I'm not going to put myself under pressure. You can't rush these things, I don't think, because the moment you do, you cut corners. And then you see those corners because you remember that decision, and the piece is just never right. Never right. My phone's pinging. Wonder what's going on. So yeah, that's the latest, guys. There's some landscaping happening. My piece is being redone in some way. Don't know yet, but I'll take you along for the ride. Oh, and my gosling quilt. I have quilted the top of my gosling quilt. There'll be a video coming in the weeks to come when I have more to tell you, but I've used black thread. I noticed that on Beck's quilt, the gosling quilt that she's got on her Instagram and website. You can see this black thread, and it's just something different, and I thought that's clever. I'm going to do that too, and it looks great. Like I said, I'll do a video about the gosling quilt, you know, when these boys are out of my hair and I have a moment to think. But I've quilted the top, and I haven't put any fabric on the back of the quilt. I'm treating the gosling like the Just Because quilt, concentrating on the top, embellishing, stitching, whatever happens. In that case, it's the pattern of the gosling, and then I've quilted it to some batting, and then flip it over, and then I can have a think about the fabrics that'll be collaged on the back of the quilt. I want to use what I have. I don't want to buy anything. So I don't have any quilt size fabric, you know, that real wide fabric that people use on the backs of quilts. I don't have that. It's all long gone. I've got gorgeous fabrics from the Tim Holtz. So I'm thinking of digging them again out of the cupboard. I loved how they were on the back of my Just Because quilt. So I thought maybe I could collage, you know, half a dozen pieces of those fabrics to create a back for my gosling quilt. So that's sort of the plan in the back of my head. I might do that when the boys are all out of my hair. So yeah, between the gosling and this, that's what I'm working on. I'm trying very hard not to start anything new because I put it down and this gets left behind. So this is my focus for the next couple of weeks anyway. So yeah, I suppose I might just finish this last little bit off. I can hear my phone pinging and pinging. So someone's sending me a message. We'll just use this little bit of thread up. This will be so good, thread painted. It'll be really good. And I'm not going to bring into it the 3D texture. I've done enough of that. I want this to be that classic, oh, it's unthreaded, the classic thread painted flower. The spot where this was going to go that I think Gaz is like, I don't know. Not that he even said that, he just did that look. It's in a hallway. It's a junction in a hallway. And it probably would have felt very, you know, when you're walking down a hallway and there's things on the wall, often it feels like, oh, don't bump them, there's something there in your peripheral vision. Probably this would have been like that. Maybe that's what he's thinking. We won't ask if it was he just thinks a bunch of flowers on the wall stitched is a bit of a idea. We won't ask. So I might just thread this one up. I'm going to pop it in my work. And then tonight when I sit down, I'm ready to go. All right, guys, I'm going to toddle off. I think I've brought you up to speed. Like I said, I'll film a little video of the day before everyone starts. Once we're ready to, you know, work on my garden, that'll be next. I might even hold the video for another day and give you day 2 update, because I'll probably have more to tell you about how it's all going. So that's what you're going to watch next, probably 2 little videos. And then I might drop in next week once the ruckus is over and, yeah, see how it all went. All right, guys, look after yourselves. Have a lovely day and enjoy your day of stitching if you can get it. Bye. Okay, this is the garden bed number 1 that the boys are going to do a makeover. I've deliberately stopped mulching for a little while just so that, you know, there's less to deal with. And we're building up layers and levels anyway. As you can see, as I explained earlier, when we turfed, we quickly laid these edges down, but they're buckling and moving, and the plan was one day, you know, replace them, hence what's happening. So let me show you a couple of things that Mr. Bandit does. Mr. Bandit has done that, and another one over there. Mr. Bandit is doing that and lying in that. So by having a little paved section through here, I can access the tap, and the garden bed and the root ball of these magnolias is protected. So hence why we have to think a little laterally here. The other thing Mr. Bandit's doing, actually this is Miss Pepper. She gets in there and digs, which flicks it underneath the barbecue. So then I've got to pull the barbecue out to clean. Oh my goodness. So there'll be a nice edge go through all the way around. And then this garden bed, look, the sun's coming up, my guys. Look at that. Isn't it just beautiful? Very lucky girl to be living in this part of the world. I could hear fish flipping around a minute ago. All the birds, just gorgeous. So yeah, anyway, this bed, they're constantly in here. There's a couple lizards that live in here. So they're digging. Even Bandit hopped up in there and dug out my iris bulb. Like, seriously, here they are. Hey, Pepper. Hey, Pepper. Yeah. Hey, Bandit. So, yeah, and he is, being a boy, he's lifting his leg. And I had a beautiful plant here. Can't remember what it was. Beautiful pink flowers. And he's peed all over it. So what the lads are going to do here is actually build up the bed as well with the 2 sides of timber and then a seat. So I'll get some seating here. So as you can see, that's Bandit yawning. The boys have linseed oiled my timber. So look at that. That's just going to be great. It's going to protect it. Hey, Bandit. Now, the other thing, if we get time, which is the big grand debate, they're going to build me a fire pit in this zone. I put up this structure to help hide Gary's shed, disguising the shed. And I really, really want a fire pit here. And where I'm standing, there's a post here. I want to hang a hammock here, just so that I can, you know, chill out and rest. Look at all the little birds. I don't know if you can see them. There's a sky is full of little sparrows. It's hard to see. They're whizzing around. Love this time of the morning. It's just so beautiful. I'll take you on a little tour. All the lads are sleeping. So today is the day it's all going to start. Oh, the fish over there. There's some fish on the edge of that water there, feeding. So you can see all the water's messed up. Something big in there. Don't tell the fishermen. We'll keep that between you and us. So here's the back of our block, which is the national park. Oh, there's a roo looking at me. Oh my goodness, guys. He just dove down. See him? Look at that. He was standing there having some breakfast. Hello, baby. Dog coming up beside me here. Is there any more in there that we just haven't noticed? He's lying low. No. Let's zoom in. Oh, there you go. Come on, baby. Pepper's just spotted him too. Is it a girl or a boy? Oh, aren't you beautiful? Well, there's a bonus. You just never know. You look out the back here and there'll be 3 or 4 roos looking at you. Let me rest my arms on this fence here. Oh, bandit, don't move. Let's just get myself anchored. Where'd he go? There he is. Is he gonna jump out? And behind all that thick growth there, where'd he go? There's little patches of green grass that they nibble on. Both dogs are standing beside me watching. Here he comes. Bandit, Pepper. Don't you? Bandit, Bandit, come here. Sit down. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. He's gone. As quick as that, he's gone. Oh, isn't that nice? But look at it through there. It's just thick. Australian bush. Just love it. Mind you, there's a mozzie biting me at the moment. Oh my goodness. So there you go, guys. The sun is coming up. I'll pan around. See the sun in the distance? Isn't that beautiful? Oh. So I can't wait for today to begin. My lads are going to revamp my garden, build me a fire pit. Let's hope they are, if they're efficient, and get the 2 beds done reasonably quickly. Last night we spoke about, you know, doing a fire pit here. I don't want anything fancy. I just want a spot to sit in summer of an afternoon. We barely need a fire. We just don't, like, we're winter here and I'm walking around barefoot. Just doesn't get cold. So I need to pull out these plants today, get them put aside, let the lads do their thing. They'll top it up with soil and yeah, we're ready to go. All right, I'll just spin around. Hey, Bandit, get you the last shot for the day and yeah, let the fun begin. I'll keep you posted. Won't be in this video. They're going to take a week. Yeah, gosh, we'll see how it goes. I've just got to feed them. That's the deal. Just keep feeding them. They got a nice juicy roast dinner last night. Barbecue chooks for lunch. It's all good. All right, guys. Bye. Good morning. It's day 2. Just thought I'd give you an update on our adventures. We had a big day yesterday. The boys achieved somewhat of the task. Did a lot of laughing, I tell you. Let me just show you what's happened. The fire pit is still being planned. I don't know. We've just gone from, I think we're up to plan 8 on that, to the point where I'm getting concerned about the whole thing and I might just say, no, hello Pepper. She's just had her breakfast. So I don't know how that's going to play. This is my garden. Look, they've completely just, oh, the fish. Did you just hear that? The fish thrashing around. Oh, it's breakfast time in the lake at this hour. And here's Bandit. So, yeah, they've completely shredded my garden. All my plants are sitting in pots and barrows, and hopefully they'll survive. I think they will. I've got soil in there and some water, and yeah, they'll be fine. So today we're doing this bed. Let me show you the new bed. Hey, Bandit. Let's show the new bed. Come on. Hey, Peppy. Whoops. Look at this. Now, we don't know what went wrong. This is the great mystery. As you can see, there's grass inside the bed. Now, Gaz, Bandit, don't be so dirty. Oh, that dog. Gaz measured everything. His plans were written down, but somehow he's added 100 mil by not calculating something not right. I can't remember. Look at Pepper looking at it. Then the boys have come along and they've added 100 mil. Then when they created it, it seemed to add 100 mil. So what I've got is where the bed used to be, where the bed is now. So it was just hilarious, dead set, just hilarious. As we were trying to do the math, well, I wasn't. I was just watching thinking this is just going downhill. I thought I'd need 1/4 of a cubic metre of soil to top up the bed. Now it appears I need 4 cubic metres of soil to top up the bed. So there you go. That's how the day went yesterday. So I've read them the riot act and I've said this bed here must stay within the confines of the old bed. So there you go. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you posted. Bye.